what is the name of this?
Podcast.
What is it, a podcast? Yeah, it's a podcast. What's the name of it?
We call them
Tales
sessions.
from the real world.
Yeah.
Huh?
Tales from the real world.
Okay, I like that. Tales from the real world.
Yeah.
We got a real world with real people who's talking about real stories.
Hello, everybody. My name is Rashad B. I'd like to welcome y'all to the Tales of the Real World podcast. Joining me today, I have two special guests. You also know my mentor, Chris. And also, I have a great friend of mine, childhood friend, Terrance, also an author. Have his two books with him today. And you also know my colleague over there, you know, doing all the technical difficulties, Brian Dreamer over there.
Hello, guys. I'm going to be in the corner here fighting all the technical demons. Hopefully everything goes smoothly. I'm sure it will with me in charge. Thanks for joining us today.
So many technical malevolent creatures, man. I think last week it was
You've clearly never worked with computers. You don't know what it's like.
It was the technical gremlins last week, and now we got the technical demons, man. All the malevolent things are coming out. Rashad, man, thanks for having me, bro. It's a blessing. Terrance, I'm so glad you're here. We got to talk a little bit before we started recording, man. I'm excited to talk with you guys tonight. We can dive into some topics, get real deep on it. Rashad, you know it's always a blessing to be a part of what you're doing, Brian as well. And I'm just very thankful and feeling honored to be here again, man. Thanks for having me.
It's always a pleasure to have you, man.
All right, so lay it on me, Rashad. What are you thinking about doing tonight?
All right, tonight where we at? We're going to touch on depression, mental health. You know, they go together. We're going to touch on that because I know like a lot of people, there's like a topic nobody really want to touch, and you know, is in the homes, you know. So you know, we're gonna touch on that one tonight. So I want to start off and say, like, you know, I'm not a professional, but mental health. I mean, I'm not a professional, but depression to me is mood changes, persistent sadness, lack of interest, feeling down.
Okay. Tell me more.
What it also do is it defeats the soul, like, you know, when that is attached to it, that depression, it had you locked in, you become prisoner, you know, to the depression. You know, I'm just speaking my you know, my interpretation, you know, on it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So depression a lot of times, depression to me is like we might call stressed out. Like somebody might say, oh man, you stressed out. But you depressed. And a lot of times, you know, like myself, I've been depressed and didn't realize I was depressed. If that makes any sense. It's like, you know, you be in a funk. It's like you call like you be in a funk, like, you know, like days going by, you just been down. Thinking negative. You don't want to participate in a whole lot of things that you would normally do. Then you got like when you super depressed, it's like you might not even want to take a shower. You're not eating, you know, you just want to lay in bed, you know, however it is, or, you know, then you might turn self-medication. It's all different ways that it affects you. And coming from where I come from, it's like people don't get diagnosed with depression. It's just they just say, oh, you stressed out or you going through something. And that's dangerous. Because how can you cure something or fix something if you don't even know you're suffering from it? Mm-hmm. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like I've been in the situations where I've been depressed. And it took me years to even realize that when I went through some things that I was depressed. You know, now I know how to identify it. Like, oh, damn, I'm going in a little funk. Let me tighten up. Let me start working out. Let me start doing this. Let me start doing that. And you know, I know how to snap out of it because I know the signs now. But, you know, like, a lot of people don't know the signs. It's just, you just feel like, oh, yeah, I don't really feel like doing it, you know. But you depressed. So that's my take.
I think
That's perfect.
as men especially, we have a hard time admitting that. It creates like a demasculating almost mentality there, and we can't act like we're depressed, and it gets really difficult to treat something when you can't admit it.
And also too, it's like coming from certain, you know, like when you're in certain environments, it looked at as a lack of weakness, you know, and that's like one of the biggest like no-nos I really got with it. Like, you know, it's not a lack of weak. I mean, it's not a form of weakness. You know, it's not. It's like a illness. It really is an illness that you know that going without treatment. You know, is deadly. It's deadly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Depression is the prequel of deeper mental illness.
There you go.
So like it's like the beginning. It's like, all right, you started off as like somebody like I'm stressed out. It's like you see somebody who's stressed out and it's just like prolonged. The next thing you know, their whole behavior just changed. Because you're going, the mind and the body finds ways to cope with whatever it is going through. Just like if your leg hurt, you start walking with a limp. And you know, your leg might not hurt no more, but now you got a permanent limp, but you adjusted to walking that way.
yeah.
So the mind going to do the same thing normally. So it's like you're going to find a way to cope with whatever it is you're going through. So if you're depressed and you constantly in a deep depression, you might go into some other deeper mental illness.
Yeah.
You know, you might never be the same again if you don't get a grip on it. It can happen to anybody. Anybody could lose themselves inside their own head.
Yeah.
Surprisingly easy.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct, man. I love how you tied that in because it can lead to a dangerous spot. It can lead to, you know, a more exaggerated scenario that it can go to is suicide. You can become suicidal.
Yes.
From depression. You know what I mean? It can lead to that. It can lead you to a lot of other things. You can become physically ill from depression,
Yes.
right? Because you're no longer taking care of yourself. You're no longer eating healthy. The list goes on with that. But one thing that I kind of wanted to just state is this: what's interesting about depression, right? Is depression, it's not actually, it's a mental sickness, but you don't say I stood out in the rain and I caught depression, right? It's an emotional state. Depression isn't something that's the actual sickness that you're getting, right? It's a mental sickness through a lot of negativity or a lot of situations that aren't working out in your favor. Then it starts to become infectious, and then your mind's just slowly deteriorating and then you get into a state, and then it's unfortunate because then depression becomes your comfortable state, right? And Terrance, you were speaking on that. You're not showering, right? You're not even doing simple things, everyday actions that you once were just doing normally. It was just a normal habitual activity that you were taking part in. But now it's come to a place where you're already losing the motivation or have already lost the motivation to do things. So it's a lot easier to just do nothing about it. And then you become comfortable with doing nothing. And that's when we get into that dangerous place that we were just talking about, where now your life has went from the normalcy that it had before to now you're comfortable with not doing anything, with not taking any action, not even taking your personal hygiene seriously. And that's when it can develop into, at that point, an actual sickness of mental health, right? Or a physical sickness or bodily harm, or the list can go on from that. So depression needs to be something that's taken serious. And I like that you guys were also touching on your environment. Maybe it's not, it's not socially acceptable to be outright and upfront about how you're feeling, right? You can't tell the friends like, look, I'm feeling like I'm depressed, because you'll get the reaction. At least when I was depressed, I expressed it to a few of my friends, and they were just like, well, get through it, bro. Just do it. And it doesn't work like that. If it was as simple as just go do it, then who's going to want to choose to stay in that depressed state?
Yeah.
If it's as simple as get up and do it, right? It's a lot deeper than that. And then at that point, well, unfortunately about that situation is now you're feeling to yourself mentally, you're like, man, if I can't even express how I'm feeling to my closest friends, I'm surely not going to reach out and actually get some professional help to somebody that I don't know. I couldn't even share it with my loved ones. or somebody I was close to or felt comfortable with. Now I'm supposed to go and speak to a stranger or feel uncomfortable about it, and then you're feeling like maybe something's wrong with you. And what that does is that just fuels the depression even further, right? So now you just find yourself falling down into a hole,
Yeah.
and that's unfortunate, man.
Yeah.
As a man, I believe that he touched on it earlier. As a man, it's like you're expected to be strong at all times.
Yep.
And something like he said, depression might be looked at as a sign of weakness. So when you express it to people, people just say, yeah, like you said, get over it. Like it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
You know, like now you being weak because you're depressed, but I'm suffering from something. Something traumatic happened, and this is the way I'm responding to it. If I could just get over it, I would. And I believe that people give a simple answer to something that should be taken serious. You know?
Yeah.
Because it's like now I'm not eating.
Yep.
Or like I'm not eating.
Right.
Because something is going on. You don't think you think I just want to go hungry. My body is responding because I'm depressed, so I don't have an appetite to eat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like it's affecting the body, and you just telling me to get over it. So like you said, now I don't even feel comfortable going to somebody else. And then like me, I grew up poor, so I couldn't afford it if I'm depressed or if I can't. Who can I go to? You know, it's
Right.
like you either going to a free clinic, get your teeth, or you gonna go get a checkup, or if something break or something busted, you going to the hospital. But other than that, like, see a psych, like, you know, it just wasn't common. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't common, like, you know, nobody, oh damn, I'm depressed. Oh, we're gonna take you to, we got a psych on call. Like, no, I never seen a psych till I went to prison.
Yeah, right.
So like that's where I really started to learn about a lot of stuff, because like I said earlier, like people say if somebody's going in a funk, or they going through something, or they stressed out. But really, no, this person is depressed, or this person is suffering with some sort of mental illness. But, you know, we don't know it because we didn't have the money. We couldn't afford to be diagnosed. You know? So it's like now more awareness is, you know, like readily available. So now I know it's like, all right, bet, like, you know, I can see the signs, or this person is depressed, because we got to give things the proper name to it. You know, we can't just say, oh, well, they going through something, or this person is shot out. It's like, no, if this person is suffering from something mental, we need to know what's wrong. Because like you said, it could be suicide.
My fault. And also too, you remember how we were saying, like, you know, you'll go to somebody, they be like, suck it up. But then also it'd be like, you know, you carrying that burden, you suppressing it. You know, you suppressing it, or either, you know, a lot of ways we become our own therapists. What I mean by that, you medicating yourself. You self-medicating yourself. Now you chemically inbound, you know, because it don't supposed to be in your body. You know, low, if it did, you're not taking it properly, you know. So now you off the, you know, the person. When I say you, I'm talking about me, a person, you know, like off the races, you know. And when I sat down, when the doctor told me, when I was telling, you know, letting her know, like, you know, what was going on, she was like, you self-medicate yourself. You know, you trying to like block out all this that's in your head, you know. And it's like, once you start treating it, then you can say, like you said, you found out about it. I didn't find out about it, what it was, until like 2000 and, matter of fact, 2001. You know, when I had an opportunity to like to sit down with a psych and really like get deep, you know, and not used to saying, oh, I'm all right, you know, because that's what you know what we'll do. Like when you're in that area, you know, because you don't want nobody, you don't want to be looked at as weak, you know. So it's like now with me being aware of it, I look for it, you know, in my kids. I'm more aware of it now, you know, try to attack it before it grows, before it spreads, you know, because that me, I was feeling alone. Like no matter, I could be around a large crowd, but I still would feel alone, you know. And that in your head is a dangerous place. They got a saying, they say don't go in the attic alone. Man, that's a dangerous place when you're not, you know, mentally fit for it, you know?
Yeah, that's well put. You guys both touched on something that I feel like we kind of can go a little deeper into, and that's the awareness of it simply, right? Because I can know from personal experience at the time, right, when I was actually suffering from depression, and you might even go as far as to say deep depression. At that time, I wasn't aware of it though, right? Because of a lot of the exterior things we were just talking about. I didn't, people were telling me to just get over it, and oh, you're just stressed out. The situation, do better, and you'll feel better. And so I didn't really know that I was in a deep depression, right? I was just like, man, I'm not ever feeling too good about anything. Like you said, I can be in a large crowd of people. We can be having, or everybody else can be having a great time, and I find myself just not unable to do it. And I'm wondering why I'm in this funk. And then, like I had mentioned, I spoke to a few of my friends, and they were telling me, "Oh, you just gotta get out of it, bro. You're just down right now." And so then I actually that turned into a belief of mine, like, okay, maybe I am just, maybe I need to just get it together. And then you're trying to tough it out, but at that point, I'm already suffering from the depression, right? But I'm not aware that it's actual depression, so I can't take the proper steps on trying to come out of it. So I think educating yourself or and educating our children on this area is better, because as I've gotten, as I've grown and done the self-development, now I'm able to see these things that are early warning signs of depression. When you hear how somebody starts talking, when you see how somebody starts acting, if they used to come out in public, now they don't come out in public, or when they do, they used to dress well, and now they just kind of look thrown together. There's small things that you can pick up on once you're educated properly on the topic, and you can bring that person to the side and say, look, everything all right, man? I'm noticing a few small changes, and it seems like something could be bothering you, and you never know. That little conversation right there might be the one that can nip it before it grows deep, and then before we get into the place where now, instead of just coming out of the house dressed a little off, now they're just not coming out of the house at all, and then you don't hear from them for weeks, and then they're calling off work, and then Terrance mentioned that they're not eating well, they're losing weight, and then now we're deep down where it's time to get help from a professional. But when you're in a deep depression and you're not aware of it, you're not feeling any sort of support from loved ones or friends or anything like that. Now you're so sunken, and the only comfortable place is in your bed, and now you're not going to go seek the help. So that's when it can get dangerous. So I feel like educating ourselves on it and trying to educate our children on it, can hopefully try to fight this demon that seems to be a very large thing nowadays, man. A lot of people suffer from depression, especially in the day and age that we live in the society that we're living in right now, in the current state of the world. So
I think some of it's good. I think depression and seeing like a therapist in a lot of ways has become more socially acceptable, more readily available to people too. But the I think the biggest issue with depression is that the solution for at least mild depression is to get up, go exercise. Get up, go get dressed up just to go to Wawa. Whatever you got to do, like wear that suit, wear that tie. I know I struggle. I have clinical depression, so sometimes I just feel sad for no reason at all. And that's all. It's all I can do just to get up and go for a walk. I know I feel better once I do it. Absolutely. I know that I didn't have a job for a while there, and I was working, or I would go out to Wawa at 3 o'clock in the morning, but I'd throw on a suit and a tie. As dumb as it was, it just made me feel better. I'd take a shower, go throw on a suit and a tie just to go get a sandwich, because also you never know who you meet. But the same token, it just made me feel better.
Yeah,
and I believe that's important, because a lot of people would feel like, oh well, why you gonna put on a suit and tie? But like he said, it made him feel better. Regardless of what anybody else's opinion is, it made him feel better. And like I had a situation when I was doing time, and it was like I had gained it. I had won a new trial, and for 2 years, I'm in the mood, and I'm preparing myself to go home. What I'm going to do, I'm planning, and district attorney appealed it and took it back. And that was the worst pain that I've ever felt in my life. I mean, I've lost loved ones. Like, I've never had nothing put me in a funk like that, because it's like to have hope. Then for somebody to snatch your hope away like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have appetite for 3 days. I just wanted to, just to stay in. And a good friend of mine came and he got me and he took me and he damn near forced me to work out.
Good
And
friend.
I never forget that because it was 3 days and I probably was going into a bout of being deep, into a bout of deep depression.
Yeah.
He took me in the back and he worked out. And after that, I started to work out and, I started to read, read my Quran and listen to some motivational speeches. And I started to slowly but surely get back to me, But it's like, again, you got to do what's best for you. Mine might be working out and praying and yours might be putting on a suit and going to Wild. But we can't worry about what other people think about what's giving us mental comfort or mental ease, because then we feel like, we won't come out of it.
You touched on it right before I was giving y'all time, but you said it. I was ready to ask, how did it make you feel? Like when you was going through that moment. You said you done lost loved ones, but that right there, that done something to you right there. Like, and I just was ready to ask, like you and Chris, I was gonna go to X1, what was your lowest? And that was right there. You just broke down your lowest, that point right there. And how you came out at, like what helped you by him coming to get you, taking you to work out and everything, and like that's what we got to do. It's like that routine. When we talk about that, Chris, that routine, having that routine, a routine helps in so many different ways in aspects of life. You know what I mean? Like it's like, it's like a ritual. All rituals, for most part, the good rituals are successful. They come out. What I mean by success, they make you successful. Is not always about money, because your body, your mental and everything got to be right to enjoy that. Right? You got to be right to enjoy that. That part of success. But it's like levels. You know what I mean? It's levels.
Yeah.
To get in there. I just already touch on that. And Chris, I want to ask you real quick. What was your lowest?
As far as lowest, I mean, one of the first things that pops in my mind is I was in a 13-year relationship, and 13 years straight, I was happy. I had my own house, was doing well, and then by the end of that, I had just gotten out of prison and was doing well, was doing very well. I had a great job and everything. And then I relapsed, right? And then the woman that I was with, she left me after 13 years and kept the house, everything. So I was down and out, I didn't, I slipped into a funk for a while. And I distinctly remember when I was in that funk, I wanted to just stay in it. I remember that's how bad it was, is I wanted to just stay in it. It was comfortable for me more to almost feel sorry for myself, right? To act as if like everything was happening to me, it was unfair, and I refused to see my role in all of it, right? So what helped me to get through that was I started to just change my perspective on things, and I had to start accepting the situation for what it was. And through being able to observe my role and all that, and accept that what had happened and accept my part in it, from there was multiple different things that I did. I had to first forgive myself. I had to forgive my ex for her role in it, and then I had to start getting back to the routine, like you were just mentioning. Simple. I had to basically, what got me out of it is I needed to set myself a new goal, find a purpose for life, because I don't want to get off topic, but when I was with someone for so long, the 13 years, like that was my life. She was my life. I didn't know a life outside of being with her, right? So I kind of had to relook at my entire situation, and almost, for lack of a better explanation, I had to learn how to live on my own. Right? I mean, I was grown. I knew how to actually to technically live on my own, but by alone, I mean without a significant other that I'm spending every single day of my life with. Right? So I just had to finally get back into it. And then Rashad, we've touched on this numerous times. I had to realize that you know, you gotta love yourself. Like, you're the most important person in your life, right? So I had to do it for myself. And then once I realized that I was worth it, right? That I was worth getting better for, that it wasn't, you know, because again, I didn't know how to live. A lot of the stuff that I was doing was to make sure that my ex was happy, or to make sure that we would be happy based on some of the moves that I would make. So I had to start doing things for myself, and was able to climb out of there and then start setting some goals, hit the small goals, set another one, and just keep going up the ladder that way.
And Chris, how'd you climb out of it?
How did I climb out of it?
Yeah.
I had to literally reassess my situation. I had to I knew I didn't want what I was going through anymore. I didn't want to continue to be in that miserable place. I was sick of feeling that way all the time. So I had to ask myself, well, again, what was my role in it, and why am I feeling the way that I'm feeling? Okay, well, you're feeling this way because you're doing X, Y, and Z. So how can I change X, Y, and Z? What are some moves that I can make to start coming out of this? And then it was just a bunch of small goals, and I would just change my routine here, change my routine there. And then I developed a lot of healthy habits, you know, meditation, reading, self-development, working out, getting in shape, eating healthy, and it just started to make me feel physically better. And then the mental came along with it.
Sounds like you almost just logicked your way out of it. And as dumb as that may sound, unfortunately, a lot of the solutions for depression are really simple, but they're really, 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 really hard to do. Like, you can't think logically when you're depressed. It's almost impossible.
Yeah, it is. So one thing that I started to do was, you know, you got to do more. You got to do more of the things that you enjoy and less of the things that you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
You know?
right.
We got to do more things that we enjoy, because it puts us in that positive state, rather than things that we don't, that are bringing us down into a negative state. And it can be something as simple as, listen to this. Like, I used to watch the news, but when I actually sat back and assessed it, did I enjoy watching the news? No, I actually didn't, because the news was just bogging me down with a bunch of negativity. And once I actually looked at it, I realized it was just giving me anxiety and making me stressed out, really. So that was actually something that I didn't like to do, that for some reason I thought that I did. So I haven't watched the news in years, you know? So just little actions like that, you know, do more of what you like and less of what you don't.
I believe that confidence, self-awareness, all of that is important when you're dealing with anything, any mental health and depression. Like positive thoughts, like a lot of positive thoughts. Like, I'm into positive affirmations. I try not to put nothing negative in my head. Like, I listen to a lot of music, you know, which I shouldn't really, but in the morning time, I watch YouTube videos, or I try to listen to motivational speeches. I try to put something in my head positive in the morning, like, just to start my day off. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
I believe that that's vital. You know, because it's easy to fall into a negative mind frame, which can cause you to become depressed. You know, social media is a big thing. It can cause you to become depressed. You scrolling, you're looking at everybody's wonderful life, and your life is not as spectacular. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, what you put inside of your head, what you focus on, you know, it's 9 times out of 10 going to affect the way you think and the way you live. You know, so like I just try not to put that type of stuff into my mind.
Yeah, that's so well said. Positive. I'm also into the positive affirmations. You know, I have a morning routine where I start my day off the same way. I mean, I'm not awake for more than 5 minutes before I'm already meditating on all positivity, a guided meditation that's all full of affirmations. I am affirmations, you know, and I can get. So you're in a receptive state when you first wake up. Your mind isn't bogged down with a bunch of thoughts or you know, overwhelm or any of that. You're still in kind of you just woke up, so you're still slightly in a sedated state, or in that sleepy state. So your mind is still really receptive to anything that's going to take in. You're not going to catch a lot of resistance from it. So that's why I like to get a meditation in immediately and just pound my head full of positivity. I tell myself that today's going to be a great day at work, even if I know maybe that I got some difficult tasks that are going to happen today at work, or a situation that I might not be looking forward to. If I can tell myself, okay, today's going to be a great day at work. And what I like to do is I like to tie an emotion in with the thought, because then it makes it real almost, right? So then I just do something simple, man. I smile. because that triggers a happy response mentally. You know what I mean? It makes, because your brain, that's a physical reaction to an emotional to an emotion. So when something good happens in your life, you smile. When you're happy, you smile. So it works the opposite way. If you smile, then you're happy. You know, so I do that with my meditations. I outlook my day and say that it's going to be great, and things. And we were just talking about this. I mean, quite literally, before we started this, we were talking about this.
Yep.
You know, I'm thankful for it. I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for all the things that I have. It's all, and it sets my day off great. And then before I know it, I'm excited. And then I go through the rest of my morning routine, you know, working out, get my blood flowing. And I'm, before you know it, now my body feels great because I just got a workout in. I just meditated on it for 20 minutes, you know, and I haven't even left the house to go to work yet. And I'm already just in such a great state. And it's hard to shake that state, you know, once you're in it. Just like if you wake up and you're sick about it, you know, if you don't want to go to work and you're angry, like, oh man, I gotta go, then it's hard to shake that state off throughout the day, right? Then things seem to start happening to you at work, you know, you're agitated, you're in an irritable state already because you woke up that way, right? And you told yourself first thing, listen, damn, man, my alarm's going off, I gotta go to work again. I hate this job. So listen to the things you're saying, you know, and that puts your brain like, oh, okay, so I guess we're going to be upset today. I guess we're going to be irritable today. And then throughout your day, you find yourself in situations that are causing you negativity. But it works the same way on the flip side of that coin. Like Terrance was saying, you wake up and you're saying, oh, today's going to be a great day. You know, I'm about to crush it today. I'm gonna stand out today. I'm going to excel at everything I do. I'm going to spread love to everybody that I meet. I'm just going to be a positive light to everybody today. And then your brain's like, oh, okay, so today's a great day. And then before you know it, today, your day will actually 9 times out of 10 go there.
That law of attraction, right? You know, you speak it into existence. You know, like, and it shows. Like, you know, when that's where, you know, that happy, you know, that energy that, you know, it rubs off. You'd be surprised who around watching, seeing, like, you know, like, yo, I want what he got. You know, like that energy, you know, because that's a priceless moment, you know, that you can have that and you know, and have that energy, you know, like when you get up, it's like every day I get up, I tell myself, like, you know, I know what I'm doing this for, you know, and by me knowing what I'm doing it for and who I'm doing it for, it pushed me, it give me that's how I get my energy, you know, like knowing, like, okay, all right, I know why I'm doing this, I know what I'm doing this for, you know, and is this the whole change, and I always not dwell, but I think about where I was at, you know, into where I'm at now, and I say, okay, that all right, that's that. Come on, let's go. Brian, no.
Yep.
Every time we're in the car, he'd be like, "It's gonna be a great day. Every day a great day." I
Even
tell
if
him, I
it's
said, "I ain't have a
sarcastic.
bad day in here. I ain't have a bad day in here at all."
Yep.
You know, because everything always, you know, is a moment. You know, is a moment, and it just rubs off. Like, you know, the moment I see when John, Chris come in, like, you know, is that we feed that, you know, and it is a spark, you know, and you know, and Boo Boo, like, we was, when we spoke on the phone, I'm gonna say Terrance, we was on the phone, we spoke on that, like, you know, we stay away from what ain't, the energy ain't good, you know, and it ain't for us. We know, you know, once you're aware, you can't say you don't know. You know, once you know, you can't go back to saying you don't know. You know what I mean? And we definitely be big on that. We was on that last segment. You know, we talked about that energy. You know, keep being positive. You know, keeping that positive energy around. You know, keeping it flowing. You know, and that's major. And you know, with that peace of mind. You know, with that keeping anything maintained. You know, what I mean by maintain is like, okay, I know this is there, but bands though I'm doing this with this, because the good gonna outweigh the bad. That's true.
Always.
That the good always gonna outweigh the bad. You know, when you can't expect to get good out of bad when you're in a bad environment, you're in a bad, you know, situation. You know, but when you're in good, you know, nothing but good gonna come out of that.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny. A quote that I love. Sorry to interrupt you, Brian. I'll be
That's all
quick.
right.
Is
No, go ahead. It was perfect. Go ahead.
you know, what's wrong is always available, but what's right is always available too. You know, it's
So,
you have the decision. You can make the decision on how you want to feel. I don't want to get back into something that we already covered, but you know, you choose to be upset, you choose to be sad, you choose to be happy, you choose to be positive. It's a choice. Nobody makes us do it. Nobody makes us do it. Like I said before, you know, people can do certain things that you may allow. Key word is allow yourself to get upset about or get into a negative state about it. But listen, they didn't do anything to you though. They didn't make you mad. You chose to be mad because, and I know that firsthand experience because there's situations that the old me, I would react different. I would have allowed myself to get mad, but now I'm in a very good place in my life where now I can make a different decision, right? And I can choose to not even worry about it or laugh about it or whatever and continue to go on my way.
Yeah.
So you have the choice. It seems like, you know, people forget that we have that choice. And then they say, oh, well, such and such said this to me and now I'm mad. They made me mad. Well, did they really make you mad or did you allow them, you know, or did not even allow them? Did you allow yourself to react to that in a bad way? Another thing I like to say, like the complaints, you know, it goes back to the affirmations and being positive on something. Like ask yourself this before you're complaining about something. Like, is that complaint worth the cost? Right? Because that complaint's going to cost you a lot now. That complaint's going to cost you to get into a negative state. That complaint's going to cost you to start thinking about the situation in a negative light. So I try not to complain about everything and replace my complaints with gratitude. Because, you know, challenges are gifts. Rashad, we just talked about this, right? Challenges are gifts. Problems are opportunities. I choose to look at it like that. They're opportunities to grow. It's a gift to learn something. It's a gift to overcome something. It's a gift to grow from a negative situation. It's an opportunity to become a better person. Rather than look at it as, oh, this is a challenge. This is difficult. Like this is horrible. Well, is that complaint worth the cost of what now it's going to make you have this limiting belief now that the situation is horrible when maybe it's really not even that bad. And if you just push through it, you will find yourself on the other side of that. And there's probably some growth involved with it.
Now
Yeah.
that leads into what I was saying with the sarcasm thing. Like, even if I'm having a bad day, I can at least say, if I'm in a deep depression, I can at least sarcastically say it's going to be a good day, if nothing else. And that just is one little step towards being a little bit more positive. It's so easy to be sarcastic and then laugh because you have that dark sense of humor. You're miserable, you're angry, and you're like, oh, it's going to be a great day. But then you're just a little bit higher on that rung of positivity, and then it just becomes a little bit easier to smile and a little bit easier to be happy. So
Yeah.
that's what I use that sarcasm and that dark humor once in a while when I'm really depressed, just to get momentum going. And then
Yeah.
next thing I know, I'm working out and I'm showering and eating and everything else.
There you go.
You can positively manipulate yourself being happy and being in a good mood. And then other people around you notice it. And like you said, you're attracted. You choose to be happy. I was just telling somebody that because happiness is an emotion. You choose
Yep.
how you respond. You choose how you wake up. But the thing is, I think that we all should remember, and both of y'all touched on this a little bit, that being grateful for what you have. It's so easy to forget your blessings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Realize your blessings. Like this is a gift. Life is a gift.
Yep.
You know, like it's a blessing. Might sound crazy to be depressed because you still living. That means you can come out of it. You still have an opportunity. Like this
Yeah.
is a gift here. So when you ignore your blessings and deny the fact that you're living and you can correct anything that's going on wrong in your life. You feel me?
Yeah.
With faith. And it's like, you really have to really remind yourself because sometimes I forget, like, damn, I made it through way worse situations than I'm going through now. Or it's like, this is not that bad because I still got this. I got a place to live. I got food. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I got a job.
Yeah.
So this is a blessing. Like, people forget life is a gift. This is a gift. It's a privilege to be breathing.
Yeah.
It's a privilege.
That's so well said. So well said. Being grateful, I feel like, plays a huge role in your whole perspective period, man. If you can learn to start there, and that'll give you the momentum and the motivation that you need. Because when you're grateful for everything that you have in your life, right? Listen to this. We'll go even deeper in it. Be grateful for the struggles, right?
Yes.
That you came out of. Be grateful for the hard things that you went through, that you persevered, because they were, if you actually look back on it with a different perspective, you grew. You became a better individual. Everything, you're where you are right now at that moment while you're having that thought, because you went through that, right? You're the person that you are right now because you went through that. So you got to be grateful for everything. And you touched on it perfectly. Actually sit back and assess your situation. Just to give an example, I can be grateful right now that I'm sitting in my own house on my nice couch on my iPhone, which I'm grateful to have, video chatting with my friends, sharing knowledge. The list can go on and on.
Me and you, we on this path where we at right now, like and we lost a few people, and we talking about, we come straight out of high school, but we've been friends since younger than that. But high school is when everything went fast for us, remember? Like, it just went fast.
High school is when everything changed.
Yeah,
Like
everything changed for us.
high school is where I believe that everything started to develop, like the issues, like the trauma, because trauma is major as well. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, but we didn't know what it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, we growing up, we selling drugs. It was all fun. And then people started dying and getting killed and this, that, and this. People started going to prison. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the whole thing changed. It was no longer fun no more. It was serious. And somewhere along the line, we was kids masquerading as men. And then it was just like, now we just men. And it's like we got all this untreated trauma. You know what I'm saying? It's like we going to funerals and janazas. And it's like we've never talked to nobody about it. You feel me? It's like a lot of that stuff, like, that's another thing, like sometimes you need to talk to some people about something, because things that we've been through and we seen, it's not normal. That's why, like me, I might have started self-medicating. I'm taking the pills, I'm drinking the syrup and all this, because the mind gonna find a way to cope with whatever it is you're going through. So, high school was, the beginning of the, almost the end.
And you touched on something. You said we took the role on as men at an age when we supposed to have been teenagers, and we took that role on so fast, like we skipped, and this is when I had, for me to go through what I went through with the substance abuse. That's when I had the chance to sit down and really, like, notice, like, oh, you skipped the process. You took a leap. So now it's time for you to sit down and gather your thoughts and get them in the right order. Like, and it was just like, once that that door shut, once we left out of high school, it was just like everything started coming so fast, and I'm like, whoa, like, hold up, like, and like you said, that self-medicate, and that became right, and that became, that self-medicating became so normal and easy to me. It was like the easiest thing to do, to block out everything. But all along was piling on more and more and more and more. It was a pile on.
So now that you sober, you really got to deal with all that other stuff. You feel what I'm saying? Because it's like all that stuff still comes back. Feel me? Because it's like now, like, I did all that time in prison, and I feel like I did so much in my life. So now it's like, now I'm correcting a lot of that. Changing my way. Well, I worked on that in prison, changing my way of thinking and all that. But it still is like you come right back to the surface. So now we living different, doing things different. Because it's easy to forget your struggle and what you went through when you come out of it. You get what I'm saying? It's like, that's how you can revert back. We can all revert back to where we was if we forget what we made it through and how difficult it was.
There's a saying they say, if you forget, you sooner repeat. Like, right? Yeah, like, as a saying, you forget, you sooner repeat, you forget that pain. Like, I know, like, for me, that's why I say I don't dwell on it. But in the morning, I think about like where I'm at now. Like I don't dwell. I remember that pain. The pain that me self medicating. On the other side of that pain I felt. So I remember that, and I want to know that okay, that pain's still there. Like meaning if I want to go back out there, which I don't. I know it's real. I know it's still there. So I keep myself with though not dwelling, but okay, food for thought. Okay, this is where I'm at. This the road I'm on right now. I'm staying on. I'm planning on here. You know, um, it makes for me makes a whole lot of things makes me deal with so much more easier. Like life become more easier. You know, things gonna show up. I done had situations I had to wash two bodies of little cousins that I raised, and things show up, and it's like, okay, that didn't break me, that didn't, okay, keep on pushing, keep on pushing, and when they show up, it's like, all right, I got over that, I talked about it to you one day too, Chris. I'm like that was like a moment, you know what I'm saying? That was a
Yeah.
moment, these little ones that used to, I used to like had to watch at times, now I'm here like doing that, and I had to like okay, hurry up and snap back into it. Like, and they says that life gonna show up. Just because we're in this situation now and we
Yeah.
doing this, we on this positive thing, life still gonna show up to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's deep that you said that. You can break it down to an even deeper level. And I touched on it earlier. Was you got. That's why I say to be grateful for the struggles just as much as the blessings in your life, right? Because there's always something to be learned from that in your situation or to be gained from that. When you went through them difficult situations, we all have. We made it through that. We learned a lot of things. We overcame a rough situation, and that's how you grow. You have to go through challenges, uncomfortable situations just as often as you have to go through the positive things, and that you're going to get growth. That's what you need to grow as an individual. Like Terrance had said, he was changing, you living life in a different way. You know what I mean? You're changing the way that you approach situations now. And what's that from? That's from the challenges that he went through already in life, right? If he didn't go through those challenges, then maybe he would have never had the perspective to try to change his ways because there would have really been no reason, you know?
Hmm.
But you went through those challenges, so now you're able to adapt and you're able to learn from it. That's what it sounds like the both of you did. You went through challenges and then you were able to, now you're at a point, maybe it wasn't like that at the time, I'm sure, but now you're at a point where you can look back. And Rashad, you even told me this, that you can actually, you're at a point now where you can be grateful for all those struggles,
Yeah.
because they helped you develop as a person.
Yo. Right. That was when I was saying like I got out here and I'm like we sitting there and we was talking one day. Matter of fact, it was the day when we was having a situation, but you slid off. We was having something going on and whatever. And I'm like, I'm finally at that point where though I could say I would not change nothing I've been through. And
Yeah,
I brought that back up to you today, I think.
yeah.
Oh no, that was it yesterday. Yes, yesterday.
I think it was
Yesterday.
yesterday, correct.
Yeah, I wouldn't change nothing I've been through. Like now I feel like okay, everything was the plan, was the creative plan, and
Yeah,
look what turned out from it. Like I spoke on last time that when not to get off about the fear kept me from getting on that bus going out to Florida to where it was a spot available for me. But look how when I still had it in my mind, like I know I want to do it, I need to do it, but when it was time and look how I got out here, you know what I mean? And everything that fell in place. When you go make that initiative, it's the same thing as when you was talking about making that initiative step the uncomfortable, get that uncomfortability out of it,
yeah,
you know, and making that initiative step. And that's what I did. And then look what's coming. Everything is falling in place, you know, like, you know, um, man, definitely. And now, especially with me wanting to do this, get back, I definitely don't regret nothing I've been through, because I can, save someone while we all on here. That's what we doing now,
yeah,
hoping to pass these Jews off to someone else, that bridge, you know.
yeah,
You got four gentlemen, four men that been through that, No, you don't got to go through that. We giving you
Right.
our, ways. You don't got to go through that. Go through that. Go in that woods without this map.
Right.
Like go
Right.
ahead.
And you can look at it like, would you even have been able to do a podcast like this without the struggles that you went through?
No,
Right?
no, no,
Because you
no,
wouldn't have, if
no.
you didn't have those struggles, then you wouldn't have this experience that we're able to share on some valuable knowledge, because we've actually all went through some traumatic experiences in our own fashion. So you wouldn't even have the information right now that we're sharing with people. We wouldn't even be able to give it without the struggles that we went through in life. So that's why it's great to be grateful for those things, man, because it's created who you are now. And I feel like everybody in this room is at a place where we're content with who we are now. I know I love myself fully. I love who I am. I love what I'm doing. I love giving back. I just love every aspect of my life. And then sometimes, to keep everything in perspective, I ask myself, well, like, man, or actually I tell myself, like, if things didn't work out exactly the way that they've worked out up to this very moment, it wouldn't be like this, right? It wouldn't be this way. And that's what I love, because even if you say, oh, well, if everything played out the same, but this one situation didn't happen, there's a domino effect for everything that happens in life, which gets you to be exactly where you are at that point, at that given time. And anything else that you're considering, oh, if this didn't happen to me, then it would have worked out like this, or maybe I would be better off if that just didn't happen, or whatever the case may be. That's all hypothetical. There's
Right,
no
right,
there's no proof to that. So you're just wasting energy on hypothetical situations, right?
right.
When it's better to just be like, I'm here right now, and we practice being grateful and changing our perspective on things and things of that nature. And you say it's actually not so bad. It's actually, depending on what kind of state you're in at that time. Like, I use myself for example. It's actually great right now. And if I didn't go through the struggles that I went through, I never would have wound up in this place. I never would have met, or I'll take it back a step. I never would have wound up in this place. I never would have got the job where I'm at. I never would have met you two. You know what I mean? I never would. There's just so many things that, as far as I know, based on fact, everything that happened has led me to right here. So anything else that I'm considering, oh, well, if I just didn't, you can even play with it. Like, listen, if I didn't, well, what if I just didn't ever do drugs in my life? What if I just lived life without drugs? Well, then I probably wouldn't have met. I wouldn't be anywhere near where I'm at now, because I would have never had the opportunity to meet you, Rashad. Not that we used together, but that led me to where you and I were in the same place at the same time when we're able to meet, and I wouldn't be working with that, right? It's just they happen for a reason. It's never a mistake that's being made. The universe doesn't make mistakes.
And not to get spiritual, God don't. We always got a saying like, God don't make mistakes. And I asked him to use me in a positive way. Like right now, I'm being used in a positive way for the guys that's coming through, seeing, that is life after there. Coming there is life. You can go to that next level. Like you too. Like, you know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
proof. At the spot. See, and I'm glad you back, boo boo. I seen you. Well, Terrance, I might go off, sometime calling you boo boo, but because it's like,
It's cool.
but that's something that this is raw right now, and his footage, like, because I always called you that, you know what I mean? And
You
it's like,
still call me that. It's cool. I'm just saying, I don't introduce myself to people as boo boo. I'm 42.
right. No. That's why I came to you. That's why I came to you and said, yo, how you want me to, and when you called that day, you said this is Terrance. And it blew me by for a second. I'm like, huh? But no, I respect that. And that's that growth, because you gotta come, you can't still do you can't say growth, but we still do the same things. Like, me. I'm using me, you know what I mean? Like, and like, basically, like right now where I'm at, it's like certain family members are learning me, because I'm not the same person no more. I am not the same person no more. All in a better way. It's a better way, man. And it's just right now, like, God is doing His work. I mentioned before when I first was doing my mocks with Chris. and I'm doing God's work. Like basically, like if I'm doing something, being kind to someone or whatever, like is all through the acts of me being worship. What I mean, showing my worship and my my fear, my love, and respect to God. And living another way, because I know all good gonna come out of that way. Like I know peace, that peace of mind. I know we all can relate to that. That peace of mind being priceless. You know.
Yeah,
I was
absolutely.
gonna mention something real quick. Chris, you were talking about going through those struggles and whether or
Yeah.
not you'd be in the same place. And I was thinking about Jonah because I've been on this weird kick about Jonah lately, Jonah the whale. And if Jonah would have just done exactly what God would have said, exactly when he said it, we would just have another boring, I hate saying boring when it comes to like scripture, but boring story of prophet was told to do this and then he did it. But now we have a whole book dedicated to Jonah because Jonah struggled and he had to in a way be forced to do the right thing, but also he went through that whole struggle and now we get to see the whole struggle, not just God said do this, someone did it, but somebody struggled when even God told them to do it. He didn't just
Hmm.
go to Nineveh. I think it's Nineveh. I had to go look it up, but he went through a lot of struggle for just what should be a simple task, and I think we all do that in a lot of ways. But that's what makes the story rememberable. What makes it interesting. I wouldn't be thinking about Jonah right now if he would have just went and did what God asked him to do the first time. That whole struggle is what makes it notable. What makes it worth remembering.
Absolutely. Be thankful for your blessings, man. I'm gonna share a quick little quote from one of my favorite authors, Napoleon Hill, and it pertains to what we're talking about. So I am thankful for the adversities which have crossed my pathway, for they have taught me tolerance, sympathy, self-control, perseverance, and some other virtues I might have never known. And that just ties back into, man, just being thankful for your blessings, being thankful for your struggles as well as your blessings, man. Be grateful for them because they've led you to where we are now, and that's a blessing in itself.
Yeah.
Napoleon Hill, man. I like Napoleon Hill. I've read,
Okay.
I've listened to his lectures. I got his book.
Yeah.
I got,
Which one? The Think and Grow Rich, or do you have a different one?
I got the big book with most
The 16 Lessons of Success, the Laws of Success.
all of them is in there. Think and
Oh,
Grow
okay.
Rich, Mastermind Strategies,
Yeah.
16 Ladders. All those are in there.
It's incredible, right?
It's a collection of all this.
Yeah,
book.
I have a book that big also. That's awesome, man. Yeah, Napoleon Hill. That's some really good reading. That's for sure.
Uh,
And I like what you did too, Terrence. You turned a negative to a positive. You took and got the best out of going to prison, come out writing books. You know what I mean? You took that and you suck up what you had, and put it all into like, all right, I'm gonna take this and challenge it, and did that. You know what I mean? I commend you on that. Like, I was telling them I was excited about you writing the books. You know what I mean? And they'll tell you that when I spoke of you doing that, man, I was excited. You know what I mean? For real, bro. Like I really, like definitely, like and then y'all sitting here sharing, and that's another thing I always tell Chris. The same thing, as us being Muslim, they say show the proof. I even tell Brian that y'all on here, what y'all quoting, y'all speaking like are authors. You know what I'm saying? What was being quoted. When y'all say, but y'all naming Napoleon Hill, that's like giving that direction. We ain't just on here saying, just shooting from the hip. We actually telling you, facts.
Yeah,
Can't go wrong with facts.
mhm.
Our life story and facts of where the knowledge came from when something is spitted, quoted from a book.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, man. We're all
Yeah.
professionals in our own right because we've lived the lives that we've lived, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right,
So that makes us a professional, I think.
Doctors
right,
and
right.
master's degrees in success and failure.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Terrence, you touched on something interesting. I just wanted to bring this up. You were saying all that trauma you guys went through in like high school, all that stress and trauma, and we were talking about how, um, like being men and stuff. But when men go to war, right, and they come back and they have scars and they're bloody and they're missing an arm, Nobody expects the man who went to war, who's missing an arm, to go plow the field. He's still going to try, but we don't expect him to do as good as he did before. But because the depression and the emotional trauma isn't visible, right? You can't see that I'm depressed. You can't see that I'm struggling inside. So we still expect people to perform the same way.
And that's why I said that now that I'm back and I'm back in society, and now that he's back and he's getting his life together, he's clean. It's like sometimes you still have those things buried deep inside you. It might be something you need to discuss. It might be some things you need to get off your chest. It just might be some things that we have untreated trauma. We have things that we never dealt with. When you go through stuff, sometimes we just put it in the closet in our minds. And sometimes it comes back to haunt you, and sometimes you be cool.
Yep.
No, but like you said, with the man that loses his arm, you don't expect him to do the same, but just to see him out there is like, okay, it's encouraging.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And he might not want any help, but you still offer him some help.
Yep.
So it's like, some of us, we really need help. Some of us, we really might need to talk. Some of us have lost brothers and fathers, and I'm talking about to murder. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Like traumatic situations, and it's just never been dealt with for real. People just go, "Oh, you be all right," or start getting high, smoking and drinking and all of that stuff, and it only leads you spiraling down a dark path. So then when you sober up again, it's just like
it's all right
never
there.
really dealt with stuff. Like life just pops back up again.
Yeah.
So it's like like. Trauma is something that we should really we need to discuss. We need to have this whole own episode as well. Trauma.
Right. That'll be. We're matter of fact, we done sat there. So our next time meeting, we already got a topic. When they see us,
put that in the back burner. Trauma. I mean, it's just something that should be dealt with, man, because we overlook that just as well as we do everything else, man.
Yep.
Right. Yo, no, that's true. That's true.
I love how you said that. You said that it can sneak, them traumatic experiences, they can sneak up on you. And the crazy part of that is there's individuals that may not even realize that they're suffering from trauma because maybe their experience isn't as dramatic or isn't as extreme as the next man's experience. So they're thinking, oh, maybe it isn't trauma. Maybe it just happened. I should get over it. So losing a loved one for somebody else seems like a pretty extreme case of trauma. It makes sense to society, right? That's a traumatic experience. But who's to say that me being somebody that's scared of spiders, right? That's a fact. I see a big spider run up my leg or something, right? And it scared me. That can still constitute as a traumatic experience for me. It can still mess me up. It can still affect me. That on a deep emotional level. Exactly. Right. So I can still suffer from the exact same symptoms that the man that lost a loved one, that he's experiencing. So, but I feel the reason I even say that, right, to make that comparison, is simply for the fact that some people may suffer from things and need to talk about something that could be a traumatic experience, something as small as somebody stole your bike when you were a kid, somebody bullied you, whatever the case may be. It's still a traumatic experience. About it. Yeah, and you're embarrassed because you're like, dang, how can this be a traumatic experience? But this man over here, lost loved ones, and he's suffering from trauma. That makes sense, right? That's socially accepted. But if I come out here and say this spider ran out on the floor and it scared me to death, and now it messed me up emotionally.
Yeah, you freaked out.
So you're scared, right? You said it perfectly, Terrance. You're intimidated, right? You don't want to share that you might. And the only reason I just made that comparison, those are just examples, but people may suffer from things and they need to get it off their chest, and they may not realize that it's actually a traumatic experience that needs dealt with. And then we can tie this back into our original topic. You're suffering from a traumatic experience that you're not getting out on. It's going to lead you down to a depression if it's not eventually handled. Right?
That's like you said about your girlfriend, right? A relationship, and you said that was your life. Yeah. You didn't know no other life besides that. That's traumatic as well.
Exactly.
That trauma causes depression because it's like some people can't come back from that.
Right.
Like, how do I move on? Like 13 years is damn near a lifetime for some people. Mm-hmm. It's like, we was together 13 years, and it's like, as a man, other men will be like, man, it's just a relationship, man. You single
Right.
now, go get on top of somebody else, you be cool.
Yeah.
It's deeper
Not
than that.
that. No.
Yeah.
It's deeper
Yeah.
than that because this
Right.
was a life you had with somebody.
Yeah.
You
Mm-hmm.
get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like a lot of times you dismiss other people's pain. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Like,
Oh.
I don't, like you said, if a spider crawl on you, I can't say that's not traumatic and that doesn't affect how you live your
Mhm.
everyday life. I can't
Yeah.
dismiss you. I can't
Exactly.
dismiss your anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we do that a lot of times, it's like,
Absolutely.
oh man, like I got hit by a car when I was 6 or 7. Sam, somebody shot me 10 times. That ain't about nothing. You cool.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Nah.
so it's like, no, we can't diminish nobody else's pain and anxiety because you never know how it's playing in your head.
Exactly. Yeah, I love that. You can't dismiss anybody else's pain. That's perfect. You know?
I think it comes down more to like what you're prepared for. Like my father died last year of cancer, but you know it was a 2-year thing. I was barely affected by it because I was affected. I had 2 years to deal with it. You know, my my
Exactly.
my family didn't spend that time thinking about it, so they were affected worse. But I can't sit there and say no, you guys should be fine. You know, but I knew what was going to happen, so I took the time. But if Chris wasn't ready for the spider, yeah, that spider's gonna it's gonna mess him up a lot worse than my father dying. I had 2 years to get ready for that. Chris, you know, it's all what we're prepared for.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things where like something can happen to me and it may not be that big of a deal, but if it happens to you, it's a huge thing, right? We're all unique in our own way. So how we're all going to be affected by certain things in a different way. So how can we start to put a value of
On. Right. Right.
what's, you know,
On
what's
pain. Don't
this
downplay my pain. Don't
please,
downplay what I
yeah.
went through. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah. Don't downplay my hurt.
And we
That's
can
not
tie that back in to the original topic again, the depression, right? What's got somebody else depressed, you might. So when you got to be careful with your words, right? We said this before, be careful with your words because you could either plant the seed for success or failure in somebody's life, right? So when somebody comes to you and says, oh, you know, I'm depressed for whatever the reason may be, it may seem simplistic and basic to you, and it may actually be something that you would be able to just push through, right? But like you said, don't try to dismiss that person's pain. You can't dismiss another person's pain because just because that worked out for you that way, or you would be able to overcome that in said fashion, doesn't mean that this next individual is going to be able to do the exact same. So that's why we just got to be careful with our words, man. And that's why we can tie it back into another thing that we were talking about tonight is the positivity, right? Approach, be open, man. Be loving to everybody, you know, have something productive to say or don't say anything at all, right? I'm sure we all heard that saying when we were growing up, you know?
That was one of my favorite sayings out of the movie Bambi. You know, if you don't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all.
Just
And
don't
I
even
always
say
go
it.
back to that when it, you know, whenever a situation like that come up, you know.
Yeah.
No, you're right though. Like, don't dismiss mine because mine is over this and yours is over that. You know, we treat them all the same, respectfully. You know how we would want to be treated, right? You know, that's how you
Yeah.
give. You know, accordingly. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to wrap that up, it's just like somebody is depressed and somebody is bipolar. One person might say, "Oh man, you know, you depressed, but I'm bipolar. I can't control this." But it's like nobody chooses to be depressed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So it's like,
Right.
you know, it's like
Right.
we got to stop doing that. And a lot of times, you know, we do that and we diminish somebody else's hardship because it's not as worse as ours.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's not cool.
That's Hill, right?
We don't know what that trauma's bringing up for somebody else too. We don't know what they've been through. We don't know
Right.
what that dragged out. And maybe that spider dragged out a traumatic experience about his sister or whatever. You know, some memory about your mom. Now you're not thinking about spider. You're thinking about that memory with your mom, but you don't even know it because you haven't dealt with it. It's just you know that it's there and it's just dragging you down.
Or you can have a fear of getting bit.
Yeah.
Because you know,
Yeah.
like if I see a bug I see a bug in my apartment now, I'm up looking for another one to kill because I don't want them to bite me. Or just like not to get off topic, it's just like hurt somebody you can't say what you know because everybody is built different.
Yep.
Yeah.
stresses me out or causes me to be depressed might not make nobody else think twice about it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I might be more sensitive or vice versa. So, it is what it is.
I think we did. We definitely touched on a lot tonight. This definitely was a good segment tonight. We definitely touched on a lot.
Yeah.
We got we got on that. Don't overlook or downplay no one else's event or what they going through. That's one of them. I really that stick out to me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody that watched this, take something from this. Treat people kind. 'Cause you never know just how much they done suppressed it, and it's like that volcano, ready to just go ahead and explode. And like we said, some people don't come back. It's definitely is facts on that. Some people don't come back from them tragic moments, like you know
Yeah.
Yep.
I think all of our topics played into each other very well, actually, because they can all three, if you look at it, they can all three be connected to one another. Trauma to depression, you know, don't trying to dismiss other people's pain, watching what you're saying, because all of those things, if somebody's already in a bad state and then you try to downplay their pain, that can lead to depression, right? Traumatic experience, if you're trying to downplay the severity of their trauma, what can that do? It can lead into depression. So I think all the topics that we covered, they all ran well within each other. And I like what you said. A key point to take away from the night is just, why don't you make the choice to be positive instead of negative and spread some positivity, because it could take that person that's in depression, that one positive moment or that act of kindness that you give to them, that could be the first step in them changing their outlook on it and coming up out of that depression, right? Or somebody says something to you about how they're feeling some type of way about something or an event that really has affected them in a negative way. It could have been traumatic, and by you acting kind and being open-minded and actually having some productive things to say to them, that can help them maybe get that off their chest and they can feel a little bit better about it so that they don't fall into depression.
Yep.
Right?
right.
So that's just an outlook to have, man. Just try to be kind with your words, man, and spread some more positivity out here, because there's more than enough negativity out here, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right. Terrance, I want you to go ahead before we wrap it up. Speak on your books, before and let them
Yeah.
know what platform they on, and
I
if you can, Brian. Oh yeah, I'm glad you said something. You said you was going to tell him some platforms that the books you could put them on.
well, I
They could
got
be
the
promoted on.
I got the links. Yeah, tell us a little bit about these books. Like, what's the general premise?
This is like drama. This is a love triangle. It's like
Like that.
it's a love triangle filled with drama, romance, and just some society, some ills. You feel me? Like I tried to show how we let certain things, greed, drugs, and all of that, how they ruin us, and how a person can make that. Like, I can take you somewhere where you wouldn't normally go. You feel me? So I was hoping that people would catch that when they just read it. You feel me?
Right.
This is just some short stories, romantic, romance, lust, and all of that, with an erotic twist on it, just a collection.
Okay.
But they're available on Amazon. That's about it.
I'll put the links in the video description for everybody if they want to check out your books. I found them, so I'll put them in there.
You found the link?
Yep.
Okay. Because I'm not good with the links yet, man.
That's
Maybe
all
you
right.
can teach me how to post them up on pages and send them to people and stuff like that, because I'm not good with it.
All right.
All right, man.
You said something when we talked, and I was telling you he was going to come on tonight. You said something. You was like, "I'm share that." Something about pushing through, because is success on the other side. Like, even with no matter how much like it may like today we may get 15%, but it's always a gain. Like it was something you said, I can't quote it. I don't, it was like
Uh,
something.
was it a quote or was it just me? Was it just me talking?
It was you just going in. It was you just
Yeah.
talking.
I was sharing that before, man. I get so excited sometimes it just starts flowing. It's hard it's hard to remember. But one thing though, Terrance, that I do know, that I do remember, there was a quote that I told Rashad to send you, and I don't know if he did or not. But I'm gonna share it right now regardless. So the prize is at the end of the journey,
That's it. That's
not the
it. That's
beginning.
it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So just listen, bro. I just met you tonight. We vibed it out tonight. I love what you had to say, man. You seem to be in a really, really strong mind state. And that's great, bro. Keep that positivity flowing. You got 2 products out, man. Be happy about them. And just because it may start off slow or it may seem like things are going slow, remember, that's why I said what I just said. The prize is at the end of this journey. You don't get the prize in the beginning and then play the game, right? You got to play the game first, and then you're going to get the prize at the end. That's how it works.
Yeah.
So just keep it pushing, man. Stay positive. What you're doing is wonderful, and just continue to push through the difficulties. The challenges are gifts, man. The problems are opportunities. So learn from anything. Make some adjustments. Take a look at some things that maybe you can do better. Maybe you can strengthen your marketing for the product. Maybe you can create a group, join some Facebook groups, and share your product through their Facebook groups. That it sounded like both of your books were subjected around romance, right? So maybe you want to join a Facebook group that's the main focus of the group, and then you can reach some people that are already in that mind state, that are already in that genre, that are going to be looking for exactly what you got. So I suggest, right, just a suggestion, that you kind of let's fall back for a minute and see what is working, what isn't working, do more of what is, make some adjustments for what isn't, and then play it that way. Perseverance always leads to success. That's the guarantee for success, is perseverance. So just continue on, man. Stay positive. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep growing. Be the best you can be, better than you were yesterday, bro. And I see nothing but success for you. It was a blessing talking to you tonight, man.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel the same way, and I hope that we get to do it again.
Yeah.
Right. We definitely.
Yeah.
God willing, we be back. Cause I really love this one. Like both of them, but
Yeah.
each segment have their own, uniqueness, and this one was that touching on that trauma and that that mental health, where though a lot of people don't like to touch it. I even see they be trying to have a lot of celebrities, come out and speak about it now. If I be watching, because they know if they get them on the platform, that'll open some people up, but a lot of people, don't have that type of access to it, like, whether they can, like, all right, celebrity saying it, but when they hear it from everyday people like us who that they see on a daily, they can come out and feel more connected to, um man, tonight, man, definitely, man, was a pleasure having y'all, man. Man, and Terrance, I'm on that. I'm grabbing them books, man. I'm definitely supporting, and like you said, we all support each other, on what each other got going on. That's a strong, the chain is strengthening in numbers, like we here, we all on the same page, I'm looking forward that we getting to them short movies. Bryant good with the camera and the editing.
Yeah.
With this, yeah.
I can
That's
help
how
with
we
that.
all linked up.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Well, this is a recipe for success.
Yeah.
yeah.
How can
Absolutely.
people watch this? Is this live or what?
Not
Like,
yet. We're working on
No,
setting that up eventually, but we want to get some
but I'm
background
saying,
stuff
so
in
it's
there.
like, so you record it, edit it, and
Yep.
then you post it somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
Post it
Can
up
you
on.
like
we
put
on
together some
YouTube.
clips or some highlights so I can post them on
That's
social
part of my job
media?
too. I'm gonna do my
You go,
best to
you gonna
pull
get
some stuff out.
you gonna get the link. You gonna
Yeah.
get the link. We gonna send a link because how we do it is we shoot
I'm
on
not good with
Wednesday.
links and stuff. I'm still
No,
learning.
all right. Don't worry about it. What I'm
It'll-
gonna do is, cause I'm learning a lot of this stuff myself. I'm learning. And matter of fact, I want to speak on that real quick. While I'm saying I'm learning a lot myself, Chris, and I said I don't speak on that. Chris is my mentor, younger than me, and I say this to say, for anybody that's watching, don't be closed-minded on where you can get your information from. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, and I said that I wouldn't be here today where I'm at right now if I never took that step or been closed-minded the take from him. You know what I mean? Because that boy helped me out so much. And I want to put these mocks up so you can see we know where I started from. You know where
Yep.
we at now with this boo boo. You see the I'm so
Man,
used.
that's
I'm
my
gonna get better.
name. You cool? Don't worry about it, man. You
No, I'm
good?
so used to, you know what I mean. For years, I gotta break that. You know, for
Change
always
takes
what?
times, man. It is not
Right,
overnight.
right,
It's
right,
cool,
right,
man.
right, right,
You
right,
call
right,
me. That's my
right,
name. Cool. You're my friend, man. You know, you've been
right,
calling me that for years. Don't worry about it.
right.
Rashad,
I appreciate you. You know, you know, for real. Like, you know, you understanding with me. You know, what you ready to say, Brian?
I was gonna say, like you're talking about that. I think it's an absolute blessing. 10 years ago, I would not have thought that I would get a solid spiritual conversation and advice and help me grow spiritually from a Muslim. You know, because I had that certain mentality. Of course, everybody kind of did, like 10 years after 9/11 still, but and I had a hard time finding people that were Muslim. I talked to you about this that would talk to me,
Right, right,
right? But yet, if I was closed-minded, we would never have this. And this is
right,
awesome
right,
to be able
right,
to share
right.
with you and have you share with me. It's a real blessing.
Yeah. One of the most valuable things any man can learn is the art of using knowledge and experience of others, man.
Yeah,
What's
Yeah,
the
definitely.
what's the name of this? What is the name of this? What is it? A
Podcast.
podcast? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a podcast. What's the name of it?
we call them
Tales from the
sessions.
real world.
Yeah,
Huh?
Tales from the real world.
Okay, I like that. That's from the
So,
real.
yeah,
We got a real world with real people who's talking about real stories
yeah.
that
That's the
Yeah.
affect
right,
idea.
real everyday people.
Yeah,
There you
right.
go. Look. Yep.
yep.
That's awesome, man. I'm proud of, like I said, Rashad, a million times, I'm proud of what you got going on here. I'm so proud that you launched this thing. You got speakers coming on here, man. You're helping me meet people. I would have never met Terrance if it wasn't for you. I got some things from Terrance tonight, you know. Got some things from everybody, man. I just love this. This is what it's about. It's about, you know, connecting with people, networking with like-minded individuals, because that helps you to continue to grow. Remember, we were talking, man. If you don't have any knowledge on the subject, then why even ask that person for advice? What are they going to give you that's valuable? They don't have any knowledge on the subject. But now we're all sitting here. We got knowledge in our own fashion, and we're able to put our heads together and make things come of it, man, and get some productivity, some positivity, help people. It's a wonderful thing. And I just want to take a moment before we wrap this up tonight, man. That's why don't we all, Brian, you kind of just shared on it, but Terrance and Rashad, man, let's just take a moment to look at where we came from to where we are right now in this exact moment, man. It's a blessing. Let's just be grateful for it, because I know where I came from. I know the struggles that I was going through, man. And I never would have thought that I wind up doing this, you know, being where I'm at now. Rashad, you got the podcast. I got a business that I'm growing. Terrance, you got books out here, man. Like it's crazy. It's crazy.
And I got technical demons I'm fighting. I mean,
Yeah.
Hey, this is the beginning, man. This is the beginning. This is the beginning of success collectively, individually. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
everybody has their own individual things going. You know what? So we can look back at this episode 10 years from now. You know, we still living, we still around, and see how far you came.
yep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, this is a blessing, man. You got to be grateful for it, man, because
Absolutely.
a lot of people that make it through that journey, a lot of people died on that shit, man. Coming, you know,
Yeah.
coming through that struggle. A lot of people died. A lot of people still on that ship, you know, trying to make it to the shore. But we here.
Yeah, we
Right,
here.
right,
We're here.
right.
Let's
And
take
in 10
advantage
years,
of it.
it'll be nice to look back at this in 10 years and actually have something to look back on, and not looking back and saying, damn, if I would have just started. I still haven't made no progress
Yep.
towards it. If I would have just started then, I would have been 10 years down the road now, and who knows where I'd be. At least now I can look back on it and be like, well, I started. And I just pray that everybody continues, man, because we can't even perceive. We have no idea how great it's going to be.
Yeah.
Blessing, man. I'm confident.
I'm confident too. That's good. Rashad, love you, bro. Terrance, it was
Love
a
you
pleasure
too,
meeting
Chris.
you, man. I'm very, very, very pleased that you came on tonight.
And listen, we can do it again, man. Just let me know if y'all need me to
Definitely.
come back, man. I'm here.